Welcome to Vet Image Lab. In this lecture, we'll take a comprehensive look at how to diagnose hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM, in cats using echocardiography. This is a four-part lecture series. In part 1, this lecture will begin with the definition and clinical significance of HCM and focus on echocardiographic criteria related to left ventricular hypertrophy, especially wall thickness measurements. Part 2 will cover hypertrophy patterns and dynamic left ventricular outflow tract obstruction. In Part 3, we'll explore left atrial enlargement, along with two major complications of advanced HCM: thromboembolism and congestive heart failure. And finally, in Part 4, we'll review the differential diagnoses for left ventricular hypertrophy, discuss key prognostic indicators, and wrap up with a practical diagnostic checklist for feline hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Let's get started with Part 1. Let's start with the current classification of feline cardiomyopathy, as proposed by the ACVM consensus published in 2020. This classification is based on phenotypic appearance and divides feline cardiomyopathy into 5 main types. The first and most common type is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. The second category includes restrictive cardiomyopathy, or RCM. Third, dilated cardiomyopathy, or DCM. Its prevalence has declined significantly since routine taurine supplementation was introduced in commercial cat food. The fourth type is arrhythmogenic, right ventricular cardiomyopathy, which is quite rare in cats. And finally, the fifth group is the nonspecific phenotype, used when a cat shows signs of cardiomyopathy but doesn't clearly fit into any of the defined types. Although we categorize feline cardiomyopathies based on phenotype, the clinical stage of the disease is actually much more critical for determining prognosis and guiding treatment. Once a cat with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy develops either congestive heart failure or arterial thromboembolism, the prognosis significantly worsens. The staging system is divided into 4 stages, based on clinical signs and structural remodeling. Stage A refers to cats that have genetic predisposition, but no current echocardiographic abnormalities of myocardial disease. Stage B represents cats with confirmed cardiomyopathy, but no clinical signs. This is further subdivided into Stage B1 and B2 based on the presence of cardiac remodeling. The most practical clinical marker to distinguish B1 from B2 is left atrial size. When the LA to AO ratio reaches or exceeds 1.6 to 1.7, these cats are generally classified as Stage B2. Stage B2 is considered to have a higher risk of developing congestive heart failure or thromboembolism. Stage C includes cats that have developed clinical signs of congestive heart failure or arterial thromboembolism. It applies both to cats currently showing signs and to those who have been treated and are now stable. Finally, Stage D includes cats with congestive heart failure that no longer responds to treatment. This staging system is important not only for predicting prognosis, but also for deciding when to start treatment. Before we discuss how these stages guide treatment decisions, we will first talk the echocardiographic features we need to evaluate in cats with HCM. Let's first review the normal echocardiographic anatomy. On a diagram of the heart, we identify the left ventricle, left atrium, and aorta. The interventricular septum separates the left and right ventricles. The papillary muscles and the left ventricular free wall are seen below the cavity. The left ventricular outflow tract connects the ventricle to the aortic valve. In hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, the left ventricular wall becomes abnormally thickened, which leads to diastolic dysfunction. This is the hallmark of HCM. Left ventricular hypertrophy may also cause obstruction in the left ventricular outflow tract. This obstruction is often related to systolic anterior motion of the mitral valve, which can worsen both the outflow tract obstruction and mitral regurgitation. As the disease progresses, the left atrium enlarges. Some cats with significant atrial dilation eventually develop congestive heart failure or arterial thromboembolism. And myocardial fibrosis contributes to electrical instability, increasing the risk for arrhythmias. Now let's go step by step through each echocardiographic parameter that we evaluate in clinical practice. First, we assess left ventricular hypertrophy. We measure wall thickness at end diastole using either the right parasternal long axis or short axis view with two-dimensional or M-mode imaging. Short axis on two-dimensional imaging is generally preferred, as it provides more accurate and reproducible measurements by ensuring better perpendicular alignment. However, right parasternal long axis views can also be useful, especially when certain segments are better visualized in that plane. Because hypertrophy may be regional or segmental in some cats, scanning multiple levels along the long axis plane can help detect focal thickening. And remember, plane alignment is critical. As you can see in this example, when the caliper lines are placed slightly off axis, the wall appears thicker than it actually is. Although the cutoff for left ventricular hypertrophy is still debated, we generally consider wall thickness less than 5 mm to be normal. A wall thickness of 6 mm or more is typically classified as hypertrophic. The range between 5 and 6 mm is considered a gray zone. Like in this case, 2D image allows us to align the ultrasound beam properly at the mid-ventricular level and positioned perpendicular to the interventricular septum and the posterior wall. And we can also double-check the left ventricular wall measurement using M-mode imaging like this case. You can see the clear end diastolic measurements of both the interventricular septum and the left ventricular posterior wall. The diastolic septal thickness measures 4.5 mm, and the posterior wall thickness is 4.2 mm. Now let's wrap up part 1 with some key takeaways. In cats, wall thickness greater than or equal to 6 mm measured at end diastole is the most accepted cutoff for diagnosing left ventricular hypertrophy. M-mode can help quantify wall thickness, but it should always be supported by 2D imaging. Be careful with off-axis images that may falsely suggest hypertrophy, especially in cats with asymmetric thickening. Also, remember that normal wall thickness can vary by breed and body size. Thanks for watching part 1. I'll see you in the next lecture about LV hypertrophy patterns and dynamic LVOT obstruction in Feline HCM. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next episodes in this HCM series. Stay tuned, and let's keep learning together here at Vet Image Lab. See you soon!